you to the series of webinar by Promotion and Marketing. The topic for today is CV building, and we'll start it soon. So I hand over it to Anshika now.
So let's begin with today's session. As it is said, the first impression is the last impression. And in the world of job placement, CV does that for you. CV is the first impression you're going to have on the people you'll be working with in the future. So it needs to be as captivating and as appealing as possible. We are going to teach that to you today. We'll teach you how to make an impression on a person's mind even before you've met them using a CV. Why let go a chance to impress somebody or influence somebody? Yeah, then you can do it just using your CV. So I'd start by introducing you with the 5 types of CV. Let's be honest here, we all know the 5 types of CV. We obviously belong to these fields. So the catch here today is I'll tell you some words or some points that will make it all the more put together and on point. So the first type of CV is financial CV. In many ways, your finance resume is your capital while applying for a job in finance field. When you're applying for a job in the finance field, you're looking for a job which has all the skills, financial skills needed. Is it audible, Jasmine?
You are audible, Anshika. You can continue.
Yeah. So while applying for, while building a finance CV, you're looking for a job which needs all your financial skills. So it is really important to note down as much as your skills as possible. But the 2 most important skills to be noted down here are your communication skills and your sales. These are the culmination of almost your whole CV. And in other ways, I would say that this needs to be the hero of your CV while you're making a financial CV. The next would be the sales CV. While making a sales CV, you're looking for a job with the top sales. Hence, your CV needs to stand out amongst the competition so that the recruiter notices it and knows that you're worth of employing and that you will give the desired result. So list down all the funds you have placed for the organization previously, all the sponsorships you've bought in, and all the small or the big work you've possibly done. The next would be the marketing CV. List down all your marketing skills at their best. List down all your events that you've organized, the collaborations you have done, how you executed them, how did they help the organization, and how did you influence people by that? How did the people affected people, and also how did you elevate them? The next would be the HR CV, your pressure management, your interaction with people, and your leadership skills, and how you possibly manage the ego issues and motivated people at their lowest needs to be the back of this CV. The next would be your business development CV. As a business development, your application needs to consist of your previous accomplishments and achievements with the specific skill set that the employer is looking for. Proactive is a key word here which needs to be highlighted as it catches the eye real well, and also it is a really important word here. Further, I would like to hand over to Jasmine.
Thank you, Anshika. Now, before moving further, I would like to repeat some points. We are aware of the 5 types of CV that we mostly make, that are finance, marketing, sales, HR, and business development. Next step is the bifurcation of your CV. How you Now, before moving further, I would like to repeat some points. We are aware of the five types of CV that we mostly make, that are finance, marketing, sales, HR, and business development. Next step is the bifurcation of your CV. How you have to manage all the points in your CV. So before that, I want to tell you the full form of CV that most of you actually confuse with and its proper pronunciation. So CV stands for curriculum vitae. Curriculum vitae. So please don't make any confusions with its pronunciation. Now the bifurcation of your CV. The bifurcation differs. When you are in first or second year, it is different, and when you are in third year, it is different. So I would request all of you to please take a pen and a copy and note down the bifurcations that I will be giving you. And at the end of the webinar, we would be giving some secret tips and common mistakes that most of you do. So it would be of great help for all of you if you will note that down, because in a week or so, there are chances that you might forget the bifurcation and the common tips. So starting with the bifurcation of a first or a second year student's CV. First thing, that is studies. Studies include 40% of your CV. Next are your hard skills. Now what are hard skills? There are two types of skills, hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills are teachable skills like any language any computer language like Python. These are your hard skills that you have learned that are teachable. And second are your soft skills. Soft skills are the skills that you gain with experience, they cannot be taught, like your personality, your persona, your attitude that you carry, and your leadership skills, your maturity. So you have to make sure that you portray both your skills. So coming back to the bifurcation, studies include 40% of your CV of a first and second year student. Second is your hard skills that include 30%. Third are your societies and NGOs. Because it is assumed that a student who is in first year or second year might not have done good internships or big internships, but they have joined societies and NGOs and have done sort of social work. So if you have done some internships or you are a part of any society or NGOs, you have to tell that in your CV, which includes 20% of your CV. And last comes your soft skills for first and second year student, that includes 10% of your CV. So I repeat it, studies 40%, hard skills 30%, societies and NGOs or any sort of internship 20%, and soft skills include 10%. Now coming to the CV of a third year student or a final year student. The main and the most important thing is your experience. It includes 35% of your CV. The next step is your hard plus your soft skills. So you can see the difference in the CV of a first year student and the CV of a second year student. The CV of a third year student. The CV of a third year student combines both hard plus soft skills, and it includes 25% of your CV. The next one is 30%, that is again a large percentage, and this is your academic. So guys, make sure that you score well. And the rest 10% that is left, it is the medals that you have got or any other co-curricular activities that you have done. So this is the bifurcation of your CV. Make sure that the CV differs. CV of a first year and second year student differs from the CV of a third year student. Now giving you a proper format of the CV, Anshika will take over.
So a CV as such does not have a format in general, but it needs to be a particular way, starting with your personal information, then going down to your curriculars, then to your objectives, then what is asked by the company, and then comes your like the objective, then what is asked by the company, and then to conclude with your uh, then to end with all your like ending with a note that you want to like convey to them. So that is just the gist of a CV. It does not have a perfect format, but yeah, there is a certain like bullet points that needs to be followed. And a strong CV is the greatest asset you can have. So it needs to be presented real well. Some points for presenting it is that it needs to be as it needs to be as simple as possible. You need to make do not need to make it too chaotic, uh, over the top fonts and all that is a drawback, and too much information is also a turn off. You need to have an professional email, a work environment appropriate email is really important while presenting a CV. Uh, do not stick to the usual summary statements. Try coming up with something of your own. And then again, one more point would be do not make it uh, break it down as much as possible. Do not make it too monotonous, and do not make it too monotonous, and try bulleting every point that you've got. Break it down, and then what you need to do is make a balance between making it attractive and not making it attractive at the same point, not too chaotic, but also not very basic. Uh, what I'd like to say is interpreting what you've asked of is really crucial while building a CV. Now I'd like just me to tell you some secret tips that will help your CV even more.
Now, coming to the most important part of today's webinar, the mistakes that you people make and some secret tips that will make you one step ahead of every person that is sitting beside you giving that particular interview. The first thing you have to keep in mind is the job description of the company. Yes, the job description of the company. Now, what you have to do, read the job description once, twice, thrice, or how many times you want to read it, and take out three words that you feel are the most important and that actually defines the job. And what you have to do about those three words now, adjust those three words in your particular CV. Now, where to adjust it? In your first internship. Wherever you will mention your first internship, add those three words. घुसाओ कैसे भी डालो पर डालो. Now, why? Why you have to do this? First thing, whenever an interview would read your CV, the first thing he or she will do is to read what is your experience. Apart from your studies or your background, the first thing he or she will read is your internship status, what experience you have. Now, the first look the interview will make at your CV, and he'll see that whatever he or she is looking for, you have already done that because your CV portrays those three words that the interviewer is looking for. You are portraying yourself as the exact person that the interviewer is looking for. So, this increases your chances of being selected. So make sure you are writing in your first internship the things that are written in the job description so that you portray yourself as the exact person that the interviewer wants to recruit. Now, second important thing about job description is that mostly the people who want to pursue human resource or any department, apart from questions like tell me something about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, the most common asked question is write a job description. So if you don't know how a job description looks like or how to write a job description, you would be disqualified and you would not be able to clear that part. So I would suggest is that every week read at least one job description and in different departments. Read a job description related to sales in a week, then related to human resource, business development, marketing, finance, etc. So that you are aware what a job description looks like and you know how to fit the words in your internship. The second biggest blunder that all of you do, in fact, most of you have have already done that, I'm pretty sure about it, is your hobbies section. Guys, it does not matter you have best of internships, it does not matter that you have scored good grades, but that hobby section is not professional. That hobby section actually portrays what your actual personality is. So whatever you have written in your hobby section tells about you. Now, I have seen people who write in their hobby section that I like to watch Netflix, I like to dance, I like talking. So, guys, if you will write things like these in your hobby section, then you are not being selected. Make sure that whatever you write in your hobby section is actually impressive and it impresses the interviewer. And second most important thing about your hobby section is that whatever you write in your hobby section, you should know the reason behind it. And not even in your hobby section, any section in your whole CV, every word that you have written in your CV, you should know why you have written that in your CV. Now, I'll tell you a story that happened with me. I was taking the interviews for my NGO, and there comes a girl, and she has written in her hobby section that I like to read. Now, reading is brilliant hobby, and it actually, portrays a great impression on the interviewer. But when I asked her that who is your favorite writer or what kinds of books you read, she was blank. So please don't make these kinds of blunders. If you know that what you have to write, please learn about it, read about it. If you are writing reading in your hobby section, so at least have a writer. Okay, read three books about that writer, know something about that writer, read some novels about that writer, at least read the summaries of the novel so that you are not creating an impression that you are a liar or you are a fake person who just wants to portray themselves as something who they are not. So make sure. Now, some kinds of hobbies that you can write is public speaking. You can write social work. Social work, yes. The biggest mistake you all do is that in your internships, you write that I have been a part of various NGOs and societies. Guys, NGOs, non-government organizations, or any sort of clubs that you have joined are not a part of internship. Please don't make this mistake. NGOs are always either a part of co-curricular activities or the part of your hobbies. And the safest and the best hobby you can write is your social work, because most of you have done social work either with your parents or you have joined some organization. And in lockdown, most of us have already done it. So you have a backstory to tell to the employer that yes, I have done social work, I'm not lying. And social work, reading, public speaking, influencing. Now, if you are writing, I like to talk in your hobbies. Instead of talking, you can write, I am a great communicator. I like to influence people. I am a public speaker. So, what kind of words you are using actually portrays your personality. So, in hobby section, make sure you are not making blunders. The next important thing is the words you are using in your CV. Please make sure you use action verbs in your CV. I would request you after this webinar ends, Google karo and just take out a list of action verbs and put them in your CV. Try to use them in your CV. Now I'm giving you 6 action verbs that has to be in your CV by hook or by crook. Now why? You must be knowing that in big companies there is a CV round. All right. Now, please don't think that people are sitting there reading your CVs from top to bottom. No. There are computerized software inside them, and they reject your CV like this. Now, have you ever thought that on what basis those computers reject your CV? The basis are those words. The computer finds out the action verbs in your CV, and if those action verbs are there, your CV is accepted. If they are not there, whatever you have written in your CV does not matter. It will not even reach the hands of the interviewer. So make sure action verbs are there in your CV. Now, 6 action verbs, note down these action verbs has to be in your CV no matter what. Now, first word is worked hard. Second word is promoted. Third word is handled. Fourth word is experience. Fifth word sold. And sixth word is developed. I'm repeating it once again. Worked hard, promoted, handled, experienced, sold, and developed. Now, giving you an example, how can you use it in your CV? I'm taking the word developed. You can use it as I have developed a skill set that includes public speaking, mentoring, communication skills. I have developed a skill set that includes communication skills, public speaking, writing, etc., etc. So, like this, you have to use these 6 words and make sure that you Google some action verbs and you actually use them in your CV. Now, the final and the last tip that I'm going to give you today is the biggest mistake that all of you do is you are using action verbs. You are not doing any mistake. Your hobbies are perfect. Your internships include job description. You have written a great CV, but the problem is spelling mistakes. I mean, we are reading CVs and the CVs include I have done internship. So please don't make these kind of blunders in your CV. Please do internships and not internships. So before giving your CV, please read your CV not once, not twice, but thrice. And I would request you a tip that I personally use, which is take a printout of your CV because reading it digitally would be difficult to find mistakes. But when you will take a printout, first of all, it would be easy for you to identify any spelling mistake if you have done. Now read the CV backwards. Start from bottom. This when you are reading the words backward, it helps you identify spelling mistakes much quicker, and there are less chances of mistakes. So read it backward once, then read it again, then read it again, and make sure that you are not having spelling mistakes in your CV. And the last thing that I want to say you is please don't be lazy and just don't make one CV and send it to every organization or every company. No, know the company, know its background, its geography, its history, everything. And if you can, try to contact the seniors or the people who are working in that organization because even if you have scored low grades, even if you have zero internships, if you know about the interviewer, if you have, when you talk to seniors, they can tell you the things about the interviewer that actually could make a great difference. And you can hit the interviewer where he's weak and then you will get the job. And it doesn't matter that what grades you have or what kind of internships you have done. If you can hit the interviewer and you can give the answer exactly what he wants to listen from you. So for that, first of all, you need to know the company. You need to talk to people. You need to study the pattern. What kind of students interviewer is accepting? What kind of students interviewer has accepted previously? See the pattern, talk to seniors, know the company, and accordingly develop your CV and accordingly develop your answers for the interview. All right. Just do not, provide the same CV to every employer because this is just reducing your chances of being selected because now you know that in every of your CV you have to change your internship column. You have to fill the 3 words of job description. All right. Make sure that you are giving your 100% to actually get selected. These were the final tips, bifurcation, division of curriculum vitae that I and Anshika have prepared for all of you. And I hope that it was of great help. Any questions that you have, we both are here to answer them. So, any questions? Anybody with any question, any doubt you have, please ask us right now. This is your best opportunity to know about how to make your CV more impressive or any mistake you want me to repeat any point or Anshika to repeat any point, kindly ask us right now. Anybody? You can write your question in the chat box if you have some network issues. We would be really glad to answer any of your queries. All right. So on that note, I and Anshika are really thankful to Promotion and Marketing for giving us this opportunity to actually, speak what we know and to spread the information to people, and we hope that it was of great help.
Just need,
I
I
think we
guess,
have a
this
question.
question came.
So, Gurbani, you asked me the difference between a resume and a CV. See, resume is a very short summary, and CV is something long. You know, in a resume, you have to be very specific about things. Like in a resume, you only tell about your work experience and your background. That's it. But in a CV, you have to tell a lot. You have to tell about your hobbies. You have to tell about your work experience. You have to tell about any sort of medals that you have got, any sort of co-curricular activities you have done. So, mm, so this is the
Uh,
difference between a resume and a CV. Yes, Anshika.
there is something I'd
All
like to
right.
add. I told you about the five types of the CV. So basically, resume is like a short version, and there is nothing like a like based on these points that it is nothing specific. It is like an overall, a short, just a gist of a CV. When we create a CV, it's much more specific and it can be made differently for different jobs. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add. I guess we have one more question.
Okay, yeah, about the cover letter, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What is a cover letter? Basically, cover letter we write in resumes. What you have to do is that you, in your cover letter, you have to go beyond your resume and you have to write what you want from the company, what post you want from the company, and what you expect from the company. Now, how to write a cover letter is first write the name of your hiring manager. All right, tell something about yourself that this is my name and I'm from here. And then after that, you write the post for which you are applying. And after writing the post for which you are applying, you have to tell them that what you want from the company or what you think about the company and what can they do for you and what can you do for them. So this is a cover letter basically. So whenever you give a resume, you always write a cover letter where you tell that who you are in a single line and what you expect from the company and what the company expects from you. Simple as that. This is a cover letter. And okay, Gurbani wants me to repeat the action verbs. Okay, I'll repeat them once again. There are six main action verbs that have to be there. The first one is worked hard. Second is promoted. Third is handled. Fourth is experienced. Fifth is sold. And sixth is developed. Worked hard, promoted, handled, experienced, sold, and developed. And the list is never ending, but these six words have to be there no matter what. Anything else? Anybody?